Welcome everyone to the Island Life podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 48 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And joining us on this adventure is our rising Survivor fan with 13 seasons under her belt, Ange.
Hello.
And of course, we also have our Survivor newbie, the brand new Survivor fan who just finished his 5th season of the show. I give you Survivor F.
What's going on, everyone? Survivor F here.
Welcome back to another episode of Survivor China, which, by the way, just feels good to not just say Survivor number 2, Survivor, right? That's what we have right now. So this is Survivor China, the official subtitle
I
of the
need them
season.
to bring it back. Go back. Let's try somewhere else, guys. I like it.
Yeah, it's nice to see them kind of get outside the same sort of vibe with most other seasons. This one is very distinct in its themes, and can't help but appreciate that.
Yeah, even to the music too. I'm like,
yeah,
yes.
I was gonna ask. So, like, the little transitionary music has, at least as a person who does not know anything, but it seems like it's like a Chinese flair to it. The theme song itself, when you don't skip past it, I'll like a little bit of flair.
Yes. I like it a lot. I love that. And when they're doing their challenges too, like dramatic, but I love it. Like it's just the dramatic music playing and it's like the drums and it's so good. I love it a lot. I think it just adds in the flair to the theme. Again, I'm a sucker for a theme and I like that they're incorporating where they're at and what they're doing and even from challenges to also, we'll talk about rewards. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the other theme that we're seeing so far in this season, or at least it's coming across that way to me, the theme of butting heads pretty much in each and every episode.
I do love a drama F, so I found that these 2 episodes we watched are quite entertaining, and I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
I think it encouraged you to pick sides too. So, I mean, obviously, like, in present day, we might play Fantasy Survivor, or even on this podcast, trying to guess the winner of your winner's picks. But ideally, without any of those stuff, the show itself should encourage you to pick sides and, give you rooting interests. So I think it does do a good job at that. And by the way, specifically, we are talking about episodes 4 and episodes 5. So we are 5 episodes deep into the season now. And I think there's a couple different people who could be your favorite to watch. In fact, yeah, uh let's have a episode specific breaking the ice segment. Uh who are you enjoying watching the most right now? So this is not, it could be a winner pick, but it doesn't have to be. This is just, you see this person show up on the screen and then, like, you smile. Like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, Honestly, in the recent episode, it was the showmance, the little bit of romance you see. Um,
Oh, well, wait a minute.
I
Which one? There's 2.
There's 2. Oh my gosh, did I miss a romance? It would be Jamie. Jamie and what's his name? Eric, right?
Eric.
Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric. That moment of them 2 swimming and talking to one another. I don't know, is that how Jamie talks? But the way she talks is so, like, alluring. It's, like, so sweet. It's so sweet and so, like, caring, and you're just like it feels like a warm hug. So, like, the next episode we see where she's, like, just saying how she's throwing a challenge, like, you kinda like, "Whoa, Jamie, what who are you? Who is she?" So, but in that moment where she's swimming with him and they're talking, he randomly adds in that he's a virgin. I don't know why he just said that, but anyways,
Well, remember, it all led up to that because they did Flirting 101, which is, what's your middle name? As we all know, that is, like, step 1.
this is
And
what?
and then step 2 Correct. And then reveal that you're a virgin.
Yes. That was just like um wild take, but love that for them. And so yeah, I thought it was just seeing that too. I love a budding romance. That's what's making me smile.
Just like Jay, like he might not even being talked. He just like make a comment from the background, like insert himself into whatever's happening. Uh, and a lot of his stuff makes me laugh. And he is part of the second showmance because in that episode, yes, we all see Jamie and Eric and they're flirting in the water, but then we see James and Denise, and James is talking about like, oh, she's like, besides me, like she's like the next hardest worker. She really
You
like me, and I mean, he straight up says, and you know what? That's attractive.
You know what? That came out of nowhere. You remind me of that because that is the most like I didn't see that coming. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, James, I love that. I respect it because I respect a guy that could see like her putting her work in and stuff like that. So I see that, that's in his character to see work being placed, and I like that.
Indeed. While we wait for F to return, uh, let me. I don't even remember what James said because he said something like she works hard and compliments you, and like that's what you want, something like
Yes,
that, or like
yes,
supports you,
yes.
and
Supports, yeah, and that's what I mean, I love that that's what, her and him have this relationship on that, like, they are the most, like, I didn't know that they had this close of a bond going on, but I like it because I don't think, at least, I mean, from as a viewer standpoint, you don't see them 2, like, that they were the likely pairing. So, I don't think the tribe members also see that, so it's pretty cool to, like, that it is the pairing going on.
but yeah, so that's our second piece of showmance, which the show ruins, which we'll talk about when we get to that. But could have been legendary. Instead, we'll have to wait until later in the season to see if it starts up. Um, but let's get into the first of 2 episodes, which is episode 4, titled
Ride the workforce till the tails fall off.
"Ride the Workhorse Till the Tail Falls Off," said by Sherea. So the theme of this episode is Sherea has decided that she's not interested in working at camp under any circumstance, which is highly heavily contrasted by Dave, who's decided that he will work at all times in every circumstance. The complete two ends of the spectrum here.
Was this like,
and I guess,
yeah, was this a new revelation or like did we see this in like the previous episodes? I wasn't getting the sense that Sharia was lazy.
The thing is, no one, like, it was only Dave. Like, everything we saw in this tribe was people getting annoyed by Dave doing work and therefore no one else doing work. But I guess what's revealed is that everybody else does like a little bit compared to Sharia's 0.
Yeah, I'm just as we were watching it, I was like wondering what sort of strategy that is for Sharia, because like the optics of that does not look good, right? Like even if you're more positive in terms of working with her, like at some point you're going to be like, okay, well, we're supposed to have a team dynamic here, but she's not putting up her end of the weight. And like, like we're losing challenges. So like, what exactly is she providing? And the thing that I questioned was, it just seems like there's a lack of self-awareness that at least I need to do something outside of just focusing strictly on challenges for her. That question came up during this episode with me.
It's tough because Sharia and eventually makes the defense of herself of conserving her energy for challenges. It's actually a similar story to Jean Robert, except Jean Robert is saving it for an unspecified future date to impress people, which is its own thing. This is saving it for each challenge. I guess ultimately it's about reading your teammates, your tribe mates, and how they would react to that. Because I guess there are some people that would agree with that. So as long as that's true, it's fine. But with people that don't, it could definitely come back to bite her. I mean, even like from the very beginning, like 3 different times this episode. The first one was disaster. They discover that mold is growing on their rice, which, by the way, that is a red alert. Bad, bad, bad. But when they're trying to salvage some of the rice, I guess Dave wanted, like, Sherea was splitting some of it. Dave wanted to keep doing it and tells her to just leave it there so he can do it, but is being interpreted as being bossy. So then Sherea's like, fine, do it. And then, like, that just slams the bag of rice on the bench. So now Dave's like, well, now they're all going to be mixed up. And it just it escalates into just a shouting match, which happens all episode long.
Yeah.
It's
She just switched places with Ashley.
For real. Like the concept is just so weird for Sherea. It's just like she just keeps saying like, I'm saving my energy. I'm not gonna do this. I'm saving my energy to win. But it's like one person saving their energy unfortunately does not like always win or break an immunity. And then if you
Right?
lose, you're
Yeah.
definitely gonna go home then because you didn't do anything and you lost. Like, so does saving energy help you? Like, did it? So I just was like, the logic is not logicking. It's like, just say you don't want to do it. Just admit that you don't want to work and you don't want to do anything instead of saying like, oh, I'm preserving. Like, it's just when you say that, it's just so like annoying because you're working. Like, you think all these people don't want to do good in challenges. Like, you think they want to just not rest to do bad on challenges, Sherea? No. So it's just like really annoying to see her there just chilling while everyone's like working.
Yeah, exactly my thoughts. It's like it just does not make any sense. And if anyone else was also doing that, right? Like then who's going to be like or do they have a source of heat? Who's going to be starting the fire if everyone took that approach, right? So it just does not make too much sense. And it's not like that they're winning challenges and like she's playing a major part in that where you can, okay, then try to make that argument, but that's not even happening. So it just comes across as a more selfish mentality. And it's quite obvious, like, we're seeing it as viewers. Imagine actually being part of that tribe and like, you're exhausted, but you're trying to like survive and keep yourself afloat and you're using energy, but the goal is to then put yourself in a better mental state for the challenges you're doing. If you're literally not doing anything, and if that's, if that leads to other people not doing anything, like you're not going to be in a better spot to prepare for the challenge. You got to find some sort of balance with that. And she's just taking the approach that I don't need to do anything. Like, I can ride on the coattails of other people. And that's never a winning strategy.
No, not at all. It's just, and nobody wants to work with you. You're just not, the vibes are bad. The vibes are bad right now.
Yeah, it's actually like, unfortunately, the vibes it is giving is someone's like, yeah, whatever happens, whatever. If I go home, whatever. That's a bit of the vibe that I was getting, at least at the time. Um, but that's not the only bad vibes, because meanwhile, at Fei Long, then we also see yet another Jean Robert scene, which is just Courtney being annoyed with him as ever. And I think, honestly, this wasn't even the worst. It was Jean Robert yelling at Courtney to not touch the pot, which I
Oh,
guess was
yes.
cold at the time. But uh, Courtney doesn't like that, and they talk about it later. And then they both have separate confessionals, basically saying that the other would be the next person voted out for sure.
Yeah. I hope it's John Robert because he's just too cocky about it. I feel like the guys are just so cocky that like, oh, Courtney doesn't help. She's going to be the next one. So I don't want Courtney to be the next one. I also like hearing about it. I think a lot of times in Survivor, your tone is so important. I feel in a relationship too, in friendships and stuff, or in life in general, the way you say something is so important. You could say like, "Oh, like, can you please put the water away," or like, "Can you or like, put the water away," or like, "There's fire over there." Like, it's very different than, "Hey, be careful, there's some fire over there." It takes it differently, and you're already, again, you're in a very, very high stress area situation. You're fighting for money, like to win $1 million. You're hungry. You haven't ate. You're not comfortable. Everything's already high up. So like, it just all adds into the fire. So I definitely feel like I see where Courtney's at, but I think that in a game of Survivor, to cause less drama, I wouldn't like been like her and be like, "Well, why did you say it like that to me?" But I'm, at the end of the day, though, I'm on Courtney's side. You know, Jean Robert, you suck. You suck so much. You disgusting freak. Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to move away from just like, you know, if he's borderline sexually assaulting people or just making the girls uncomfortable, like even if you're winning challenges, it's hard to stop thinking about that, even if he's doing things to contribute, because that's in the back of your mind that like, hey, this person did that. Like he feels that it's okay to do that sort of thing. Like you're not going to want to work with the person, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's why like first impressions are so important, right? Like you got to start off strong, but then you have to be consistent with it. Like you can't like show something that you're not. Like I mean, I guess you can. Like you could be like disingenuous, but like to have to pretend throughout the entire season, like that's extremely difficult. At some point, like you know, your true colors will show. So I think for him, it's like part of his like part of his strategy was to show like a certain side of him and hold back in terms of like maybe what his real strengths would be later on. And that's also a very risky strategy. Like it's similar in the vein to what we're describing Sherea is doing right now, where you're just assuming that people are going to be okay with that up until a certain point where you can advance enough and you build a certain level of, I guess, camaraderie with some of the other contestants where let's just let bygones be bygones. But you have to actually get to that point first. If you're rubbing people the wrong way, like who knows, you might not even make it that far to make it count.
Yeah, well, that's why F when you say like, oh, like I would want to be a different side of myself. It's I find it risky. It's real, like what you just said. If you're not gonna be yourself on purpose to keep that up for the whole season will be difficult. Like at one point, I think it might just be easier to actually be yourself, so you don't have to like stress about putting on a facade.
Yeah, but I think in his case, it's like an extreme, right? Like it's not like I don't know who John Robert really is, but like there's certain sides of him that I guess show over the course of this season, right? If he's a poker player, like some people might have a background on him. You know, he's probably come up on TV before. You can get a sense of what his personality could be like. I think my point was more in terms of like, okay, if my core personality might be someone who's more quiet, more reserved, let me get out of that shell. Let me be more vocal. That's not normally how I am, but it's like something I can gradually um I'm getting out of my comfort zone and showing a different side to myself that's more beneficial, I feel, for the game and graduate like I'm not doing it with the sense of I'm coming off as fake. I'm trying to then align it to the type of person I am if I feel like other people also relate to that sort of thing, right? If the rest of the tribe is quiet, reserved, it's going to be weird if I'm the one vocal person. But like to start, I have to be vocal to tell people what I'm about, to tell people this is who I am, this is what my interests lie, this is how we can work together, and then just kind of figure out how the rest of the season goes. And I think the way that John Robert is taking that approach, it's like he's just kind of going through two extremes. He's like, oh, let me be lazy, let me not do anything. And then later on, like, let me just start doing everything. Right. And it's like, you start to see like a flip switch and it just, that comes across really as disingenuous. It's not like a gradual change, kind of like I guess we would see in James, where he's being more and more vocal. It's more like, okay, this dude was like touching girls a certain way like a couple episodes ago, and now he's like not touching them. Now he's actually more contributing. Like who is he? Like what side of him is really him? Like I don't know.
Well, the
Yeah, I see what you're
problem
saying. It's hard
is
to read.
one of many problems could be that the most problematic aspects of Jean Robert is what he's choosing to present. And either way, whether I mean, it's almost worse if that's like what's worse, if that's the real him or if he's only doing it on the show. Like it's all bad.
Yeah.
But more Jean Robert to come. Surprising. They both get tree mail, both tribes, and it actually tells them to go into tribal council. What? We haven't even had a challenge yet. What do you mean? But it turns out they're going to a challenge that will happen at tribal council or outside of tribal council, and it takes us to the very, very rare nighttime immunity. Well, just nighttime challenge. Period. This challenge was called Great Balls of Fire.
I love this
And
challenge.
as Jeff would describe, Jeff describes these as 2 chopsticks. I mean, it's actually like 2 big like metal rods, each in teams of 2. Each of you will hold one of these chopsticks to hold up a flaming ball, and you need to get it across the like playing area to what Jeff also calls just a big walk, which I mean it looked like a walk, I suppose. And then when your fireball gets into the walk, sets off a firework to announce that you've done it. You go back, do that 3 times. Each of those times will be harder because the rods will be longer. And first team to do that wins.
Loved it. It was incredible. It was so cool. So different than all the other ones we've had right now, and I love it. On theme, 1, check. 2, very different than the other stuff. Like even in this season so far, love it. Check. It's just fun. It was really fun.
I really like the challenges in this episode. I think this episode sets a really high bar in terms of what they're capable of doing. And if they approach the same level of grandiose, however you pronounce that, for these challenges, grandiose, then it's, this is shaping up to be a good season just on the challenges alone. Like I love as Ange said, the theming. I love that this one had fireworks. It's at nighttime. It's a rare sort of challenge that has that. And then as we'll discuss in the following challenge, it also, goes hard in the theming. And it's just, we get divvied up between these 2 tribes. And interestingly enough, the thing that sticks out again is who does the Fei Long tribe, because they have an extra person, who do they decide to sit out? And it ends up being Courtney. And it just makes you wonder, how many challenges is Todd's name going to come up or Courtney's name going to come up in terms of the challenges that they just do not have to contribute to while their team just carries them?
Yeah, I mean, do you think that is good for them or is it bad?
It's good for them, yeah. Up until like the other people feel like it's putting them at a disadvantage, that they have to also be they don't have to worry about conserving their energy, and they get the rewards if they win. Like if it's like a one and done thing, happens every now and then, you can't do anything about that. But if it's like literally every challenge, those are the same 2 people you have to think about, outside of the fact that you just can't choose the same people in consecutive challenges, but those are the main 2 people, then it starts to feel a little unfair for the rest of them.
Well, I was just thinking like the danger of like if you're being set out because you're the weakest and then your team actually goes to tribal council, isn't there a risk that then you're the weakest, so you're going to be the target? I mean, that's how Ashley and Leslie went home, although they both had extenuating circumstances around them. But that's what I'm saying. It could be good, could be bad. So I take it both of you are ranking this challenge above obstacle course plus block puzzle.
Oh,
easily.
1,000%. Yes.
Very well. So I think both teams start off fairly well, but by the end, it's Fei Long that has opened up a lead. Dave, and it was either it might have been Jamie, but they were really struggling at the end. Frosty from the back is trying to coach them, but it's really no use.
Dave and Eric. Those are the
Oh, it was
last
Eric.
two.
David Eric. Okay, there you go. Yep. Meanwhile, although also struggling, John Robert and James are able to push through, get to the end, and set off that last firework to win it for Fei Long. And what they win is a visit from a local fisherman's family where they are going to not only bring food and spices, they are also going to give them tips on fishing. What was the most interesting thing that you guys saw from the next day, from the reward when that family came?
The
When
one other thing
freaking
that we should
oh,
point out too is Dave also got selected to join the other tribe, similar to what we saw in a previous episode.
For sure.
Because they won, they had the opportunity to swap in or not swap, but bring in another tribe member from the other tribe. So they decided to ultimately go with Dave.
Yep.
a crazy thing was the fact that Jean Robert started speaking Chinese. That was kind of crazy. I'm
And it
like,
wasn't like fake too,
ain't
because you
no
could see a storyline where
way.
he's like, oh
Oh
yeah,
my
I
god,
know, and he just says the
imagine no, and I as someone that understood, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's not kidding. He actually is speaking Chinese." Well, it's basic, elementary, but still impressive. And like he's able to like say what they're saying, which like I forget how like I forget that that could be a barrier like for helping them and teaching them because they're limited to like I can only show you, you know? And I could tell you, but you're not going to understand. So the fact that he was able to like say, "Oh yeah, I spent time and when he was younger or something," I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy. What are the chances?" It was pretty cool, and it was nice to see that. Like I feel like everyone was very, very, very nice to them, the family, and it was a very sweet moment. Again, we don't really see rewards like this nowadays. We see rewards of fruit, bread, deli sandwiches, you know? We don't get
this
this is
the
like
survivor sanctuary where good things
yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Now like but instead this one's literally taking like a proverb of like if you like give a man a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach a man a fish, you like feed them for a lifetime. Like this is what I thought of. The moment they were like teaching them and they cooked for them. They had food too, but it was a really cool moment to see.
Yeah, I love it. The entire segment just blew my mind. Yeah, like Jean Robert, like that was impressive that he knew how to. I think it was Mandarin. He said he was speaking,
Yes, it was
but
Mandarin, yeah.
either Mandarin or Cantonese are quite difficult to learn. And he mentioned like 20 years ago having learned a little bit of it, but like I don't know how fluent he was, but like he was killing it. Like that's not
Yeah.
easy to pick up a language, go like roughly 20 years without practicing or speaking it and then effectively use it for something like this. And it did not show him struggling to speak the language at all. Like he was actually having a dialogue with the locals there. That was one thing that blew my mind. The other thing that blew my mind was actually watching the locals and their approach to how they actually caught the fish. That being,
Mhm.
they took the birds, wrapped something, I believe, around their neck, and then
Mhm.
they would actually go in underwater and actually catch the fish for them, come back, and actually like the fishermen would then take and actually like pry open their mouth in a safe way, of course, and use that to actually get the fish. So it was like the it's that sort of thing you see with like animals, pets, where they can help you like in society. You were getting those same vibes. In this case, they're actually helping you get the fish. They're essentially doing the work for you and catching the fish. No different from how, like, if you're blind, you need assistance. They have dogs
Mhm.
that kind of help with that and things like that. So that also blew my mind. Watching it on TV is one thing. Like watching this in person would have just been like so crazy.
Yeah, I did not know they do that. I didn't know birds can do I just thought about all the chickens they give them at Fiji. I'm like, imagine they just like, "Oh, I watched one episode of, Survivor China, and they had the birds catch the fish, and they threw the chicken out there. 'Go chicken, go. Go, find us some fish.'"
Well, so I thought about that too, in the sense that uh, I love the idea of bringing people to come teach them, but I don't know that we're gonna be able to learn how to teach birds that in like a day. Like Like, I don't think they left those verbs with them. But they do have a scene later of them showing them how to use their net, which they've had for a while now, and I guess have never figured out how to use it. But like, spreading it out across like a big area so the fish swim into it. It's like, okay, that makes more sense for them to like learn things. Uh, but yeah, they get a whole feast and they get the spices. They get to hang out together. John Robert becomes actually very useful. And even though there's a couple people like James, there are points that he gets annoyed at him still. Ultimately, he's like, but I have to admit, he actually did a good job. No, he did a good job. Uh, I just like
Yeah.
that even in this moment where it should be nothing but positive for John Robert, still somebody was annoyed.
I know. As much as I don't like John Robert, and you know that I don't, I was kind of like, oh, come on, guys. Like, he's trying to translate. It's hard to translate and be polite at the same time. As much as I was like saying, like, oh, you got to be nice. He didn't really say it in a way that he was, as he explained, it was a direct translation. I was like, two more or get the two or something like that. It was just what she was saying. He's just saying it. He's not telling people to do it. He's just directly translating, like, what do you want him to do? Follow everything she's saying, or do you want her to translate him to translate? It's kind of hard,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying to Will while we were watching that sequence, that like whatever you can get mad at John Robert for, this is not one of those moments. He's really just
Yeah,
translating. But
exactly.
I just found it super ironic that they chose Dave. Dave was arguably the person who cost his team this challenge, and he got the benefit of coming to this tribe, and they just won this food, and he gets to partake in that.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's not all. Dave, as the person kidnapped, also is given another clue to the immunity idol, but not for himself. As you know, the kidnapped person needs to give that clue to somebody else. And that person turns out to be Todd again. So another person has gifted their clue to Todd. And Dave kind of does like, do you believe turnabout's fair play? Which Todd says, yeah, of course. And he's like, all right, well, yeah. So like now it's supposed to be that if John Who wins and they kidnap Todd, then Todd would give Dave the clue. So what do you think of this decision by Dave?
I just it's hard to say from his perspective, but it feels like this is setting up really nicely for Todd, right? Like
For
he might have
sure.
just felt he could target someone who is easy to just kind of keep alone and have a dialogue with, and it seems like Todd is kind of doing his own thing, but kind of for the reason that Ange and I chose him, it seems like Todd's playing a smart game and people clearly are trusting him, and there's obvious strategy that comes into play. So that was my main takeaway, that like this is just looking like it's setting up really nicely for Todd.
For sure. Like, it seems like what you could see, like, it's setting him up in terms of he has more chances of getting the idol, immunity idol, for himself, and without needing people to know, because no one knows that Leslie told him, and no one knows that Dave? Yeah, Dave told
Mhm.
him, and so he's just himself riding on with this, and he's been smart enough, he didn't tell anybody about it. That's one. And two, it kind of shows how good socially he is. If two people have trusted him with this information, meaning they want to work with him, like two individual people want to work with him, not within a group, and they trust him with this info and want to work with him in the future in hopes that when they make merge, this is the relationship they want. Now, the two people that gave it to him are no longer with us, but it's okay. It still tells us that he is a lot more like, charismatic, very socially well played than we think he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I question whether he actually is a flight attendant, though. That's what I'm
Are
thinking
you a
about.
flight attendant, or are you a quote hands flight attendant?
Yeah, I'll be wondering that the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, things are working out for Todd. You're right. It's not. It's hard to show us on TV what he's doing because, like, he laughed about, oh yeah, if Leslie goes home, that'd be great for me. But it's not like he influenced that at all. And
Mhm.
then same with Dave. I guess like it might have been nice if he was interested in it. If Leslie and Dave were still here, he would have someone to be aligned with in the merge, which now he doesn't. But on the other hand, now there's no one that knows about at least there's some people know about the idol, but there's no one left that knows he had clues. So that is valuable. So also, how do you feel that with this, he now has all 3 clues. So because when you get the clue, it comes with the previous clues as well. So he has 3 clues, and this is day 11 that this is taking place on, but no idol yet. So either he hasn't he probably has looked around, but clearly he's not been successful yet, even with 3 clues.
Yeah, I wonder where it is. Like, it's got to be like not in front of your face. Like, it can't be. It's got to
And
be.
Jamie
I
has
don't
2
know.
clues too, and she also has nothing on her page.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if they'll ever find it. And also, a good thing that they both didn't switch to each other's, because that would be confusing on the clues. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like they've been trying to search for it. Like idol searching is not a very big deal right now in this season.
No. So at this point, after in the 15th season, so they know what idols are. They know what hidden immunity idols are. But so far, you need a clue to find it, and also it's the expectation for it to be at Exile Island, actually, there is no Exile Island here.
Oh, thank God.
So so you wouldn't. It is not normal to even if you did go out wandering, you'd never expect to actually find it. You assume it's impossible to find without help. That's kind of what people are going
Okay, I
into it
see.
thinking.
That's fun.
Now, Jamie and Todd have help because Jamie has 2 and he has 3 clues. They haven't found it yet. One of those clues did say it was in plain sight. So are you telling me that neither of you have noticed where the clue or the idol might be?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think they're just like, it can't be in plain sight. You just kind of had that doubt where if it's in plain sight, why would you need clues?
Should call him
You
Jeff a
know?
liar.
I'm not calling him a truther.
Probably like right above one of their huts or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They move from like so many different locations, and this is not like the beach where you have like we have this like designated area right here. This is more like flat land surrounded by like forests for them. So there's no like key point of interest, at least in the Zanhu tribe. I feel like at least the Fei Long tribe, they do a better job of having more key points of interests. But I was like thinking about that while we were watching. Like, where could it be? Like, am I seeing something, or is there something in the distance, like during any of these shots, which look like it could be like leading to an idol? And I have not noticed anything.
Okay. We'll see if anybody ever finds it, including you two. But we then all reassemble for the immunity challenge. This immunity challenge was called Warriors Duel, and that's a fitting title. So in this challenge, first of all, you have kind of like a gladiator pit set up. They've constructed like an arena type thing, and everyone is going to dress up in armor. So like they all look great, and they're going to throw meteor hammers, which I never knew existed, but apparently they are like ancient Chinese weapon. So on theme. It's kind of like what's this thing called? It's like you can like swing it around your head and throw it. There's like 2 balls at the end of it. Like think nunchucks but with spheres at the end. And you are throwing and aiming at a bunch of vases on the other side. But in front of you is the enemy, and they are going to try to block you with a bamboo stick. So it's kind of like it's kind of like dodgeball. It's kind of what it looks like.
Very scary version of it.
It's
oh
like
yeah,
the opposite of dodgeball. You're trying to actually block things rather than
yes, you
avoid
want
them.
it. You're right. And like whoever knocks down the most things is going to win across 3 rounds. Real quickly, so we had first Denise and Courtney taking on Peih-Gee and Sherea, where they take 1 They get one hit. They being John Who. Then it's gonna be James and who was with
Todd. James and Todd.
Todd. Yes. Against Dave and Frosty. James looked like a madman, very scary. Like he was
I would be
swinging
so scared if I was
and
playing
like
against James.
yeah, like his like the end of the spear is going really far for him. So like he had a really big radius of what he's swinging around. They hit 3 in the end, so now they have the lead. Fei Long, and then the last round was Aaron and Amanda against Eric and Jamie. Jamie looked really impressive. She knocks down 2 with just one throw, which tied things at 3. But in the end, Amanda actually scores again for Fei Long, and Jamie almost hit the last one, but not quite good enough. So Fei Long would win immunity 4-3. How'd you guys like this challenge?
Another
I
great
loved
challenge.
it. Yes, it was so cool. Like the armor they're wearing. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So cool. I really liked it a lot. It was very different. It was very intense because like, when you're throwing this, it's not easy and also scary because you got to go against your instincts and go towards it to block it. Your
Yeah.
instincts is to go away from it, not going towards it, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I would argue that these two challenges together in the episode are probably, like, even outside of Survivor China, are probably the best two challenges I've seen in any season of Survivor.
Really? Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
I also liked, I mean, you can't guarantee it every time, but like one side goes up 1-0, then the other side goes up 3-1. Then in the last round, it gets tied up, so it all comes down to each team's last throw. Like that was very, I guess this because usually I guess there's only two versions of this. There's um if it's a race, then it's someone's ahead. Can the other team make the comeback? Whereas this is like in stages, like a point scoring. So like, can you make the comeback in points versus in a race? But at least for this version, it's like the most exciting it could be. And I do like that different people get highlighted. I think still my one complaint I think that's with most of these challenges that they do feel fat, like small and fast. So like they don't like a lot of them don't they happen in one area and they can be over quickly. Like that one where in the mud where like the ball rolls down and they're wrestling each other. Like ultimately that only lasted 2 rounds, so like not a lot happened. Um,
And I
But
think the
yeah,
editing
yeah.
has something to do with that. I feel like they could show you more of the challenge, but because they have these cuts, and yeah, I mean, I guess part of what you're saying is true. The scope of the challenge doesn't seem as big as some of the other ones, but I actually appreciate that. I think it hits the key points you want to hit. It has a teamwork component to it, has strategy involved. It has very, I guess, like a showman vibe to it. Both of these challenges did. So for me, they hit all the boxes in what I want to see in a challenge, right? Like the challenge to me is like who's winning. I want to see like what happens in the aftermath of the challenge, what like the conversations are, how the strategy plays. To me, the main thing about Survivors, less so the challenges, is more the social dynamics surrounding the challenges.
I like that. I like that explanation. I for sure also like come to appreciate more of like the social dynamic as well rather than looking at them struggle on a puzzle as much as it's funny. I think it's sometimes we do find that more fun to watch when they're struggling in a challenge, but when we had the classic obstacle one, there's just one person's always, if they were struggling, that is more the fun person to watch rather than one that's speeding through it and quickly going by it. Um, but in this one, it's like they're doing good, they're doing bad. Both of them is just as exciting. So I come to appreciate that part
Mhm.
more.
I guess if you think about it, so obstacle course plus block puzzle puts the highlight on whoever's on the puzzle. So for sure, like that's a positive for that format because you get to see what happens. In this challenge, it's like everyone's spotlighted but individually because it's 2 versus 2. So these two are spotlighted, and the next round these two are spotlighted, and the next round these two. So like everyone gets a chance to be in the spotlight. Whereas when you're running the obstacle course, it's usually all of you, so it's hard for one person to stand out. Granted,
Yeah.
sometimes you get last episode with Courtney can't cut the rope, so sometimes that happens. But
Yeah.
but okay. No, I like this challenge too. Because John Who loses, and they go back to the camp, it's really still continues to be Dave and Sherea. Both of them don't do a great job at lowering their danger level. Because I think
No.
both of them take the strategy of confronting them, and it's in so many words, like, "Is it gonna be me?" It's like, oh, like that like, Dave, I think, literally says that. Sherea is more like, "I can't help but think about what you guys are saying about me." Like,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
It's so awkward, like, you're saying that, but then it's also like, why aren't you working on it to fix what they may be thinking or saying about you? Why are you just kind of accepting it? In the end of the day, like, did you win with all your resting? No, we still lost and we're still in the same area. So maybe like you would expect that Sharia is probably like, oh, well, we lost. Now I got to work on my camp thing. But it's like, nope. I don't think she, picked up the slack or was like, maybe we should start working on camp. Nope. She's just still kind of sitting there, chillaxing, hoping for the best. Like, it's not me, right?
Yeah, it's one of those episodes which really makes me wonder if things are staged just to make sure that there's more tension than there actually needs to be. Because to me, if Sherea did not shoot herself in the foot here, which became more evident in this episode than pretty much in any other episode prior to this one, the vote very easily should be Dave, right? For most of them, he's been the common denominator, been weak in certain challenges too, interestingly enough, more so than some of the other people in the tribe. And annoying people in the tribe, it's a very easy vote to get out Dave. He's the obvious weak link. Yet at the same time, this episode, it comes out that, like, Sherea's doing things that are causing people to get annoyed by her. And it's more so that she's just shooting herself in the foot rather than, like, anything that she's not, like, anything that she's been lacking in previously. Like, before this episode, I wouldn't have told you that, like, oh, Sherea's not putting up her end of the weight. It's really focusing on that in this episode. And it may have just been off camera stuff previously, but it just goes to show that, like, I really don't think that's a smart winning strategy, like how she's doing things, like, because, like, that negatively impacts your social game. People are not going to like talking to someone who's not pulling up their end of the weight. If their only focus is on challenges, Survivor is more than just challenges. So to me, that's flawed logic. And it's really weird that she's in this game working so hard, yet at the same time not working hard enough to try to win that $1 million. So like
Yeah.
it just seemed like, if we didn't have any cuts of Sherea this episode, the vote very easily would have been Dave. Like, you wouldn't even have had a second thought about that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the default edit is supposed to make it between two people, so certain things might be exaggerated or aired out of order. But at the end of the day, I mean, we saw the footage. I mean, clearly, and we saw people talking about her, like Eric, PG, and Jamie are to the three of them, talking about like who they should get out. And I'm forgetting one of them. Um, but it ultimately they go to tribal council. Both of Dave and Sherea kind of bring up the points we've talked about. Dave, I thought, made a reasonable point of saying, like, it's not all about challenges. If you did devote all your time to resting to prepare the challenge, that would be a short term goal. But I think it's a testament to how deep a grave Dave had dug himself, that despite those words, he is still the unanimous target, as Dave is voted out 5-1 by Eric, Frosty, Jamie, PG, and Sherea.
Yeah, no more crazy
Yep.
Dave.
Not gonna lie, I was shocked because I thought they would want to take Sharia out. But I think I just like didn't read it like that. Because like for me, I would prefer, because although Dave is a little crazy, he's doing stuff, versus Sharia isn't. So I feel like I would think it made more sense to take out Sherea, but I guess not. That's where I'm like, wow, I feel like I didn't know how to read the room. Like I would have made the wrong vote.
Yeah, I mean,
What?
that's exactly why I'm saying it's how like they staged it in this episode, because this probably wasn't a new thing for Sherea. Like they probably had that happen in previous episodes. They just weren't showing it. And rather than make the viewer think that, oh, okay, the viewer already knows it's Dave, they got to throw some tension in there to make it look like, oh, it's going to be a hard decision between these two.
But I think part of it is that because of who Dave is, like his work ethic overshadows everyone anyway. So it doesn't matter that one person doesn't do work because Dave is almost doing everything. In fact, some of the people that tried to also do work and help, like Ashley, they got that just results in shouting matches. But then when Dave is kidnapped, so now there's not someone to do it, and everyone else is trying to do their part. Now it is clearly in your face that one person is doing anything. So that's probably what Shreya's biggest fault is. She should have been aware that what I've been doing is fine when Dave's here, but when he's not here, I need to at least put up pretenses because, like, it's gonna look obvious, and it did. But lucky for her, Dave was just hated even more, regardless. Do you want to see Dave again?
Is he going to take his shorts off again?
Oh my god,
Which
I
he did
forgot he
again
did that.
in this episode.
Oh
Dave.
my gosh, I forgot about that.
My answer is no.
My answer is nar.
Very well. Goodbye, Dave.
Which, by the way, we're now 2 of 3 for people getting kidnapped and then getting eliminated. So Jamie better watch out.
No, Jamie.
Dun, dun, dun. So that brings us to episode 5. Episode 5 was called Love is in the Air. Now, it turns out that nobody said that, at least not in the final cut. It's just about our two showmances, Eric and Jamie, and Denise and James, which we've already talked about. So instead, I would like to talk about something else that I think could have been the title of the episode.
PG, you good at puzzles?
I'm good at Sudoku.
So this episode featured only our third challenge throw we've ever seen. Of course, we see Burton in Pearl Islands, which went horribly wrong for him. Disaster. We saw Ozzy persuade his tribe to throw the challenge to get out Billy to end that potential showmance that could have been maybe between Billy and Candace. And now PG comes up with a crazy idea. So, rather than go through step by step in this episode, I think we're just gonna immediately talk about this because this is the big thing of the episode. So we'll go over the details a little bit later, but the tribes have been swapped in such a way that now on John Who, there's a 5-person tribe of PG, Jamie, and Eric from original John Who, and Aaron and James from original Fei Long. So PG realizes, well, if we win this challenge, on the other side, which has 5 Fei Long and 2 John Who, probably Sherea and Frosty will get eliminated. And then, if we merge, it'll be 7 Fei Long against us 3 here. So why don't we lose on purpose so that, because there's 3 of us, we know we can vote out either Aaron or James, do it again next time so we get out the other, and now it'll be 5 of us. It'll be us 3 plus Sherea and Frosty against 5 of them. So, what do you think of PG's master plan?
I know it sounds so bad, but I'm honestly down for it. Like, it makes sense. The math is mathing. It makes sense, but I wouldn't do it. You know, like I get her idea, but I still
You
feel
would
like
do
I
it?
would want to try to win. Like, I get the idea, but I feel like I also don't want to lose, though, because it's risky. You know, I could confidently say, hey, these three are my people. Like, I know we're going to work together, but I also cannot confidently say nothing's going to change to make you vote for me tonight. So I get it's like, oh, let's it's not about winning the battle, it's about winning the war, but like, what if I died in tonight's battle? You know? Like, that's a different story. So as much as I get her idea and I get her plan, I wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't do it. I would be happy that you thought of it if I was on the other side, the other team. But I will not be happy in this team.
I'm I'm divided on this. It's just I like the strategic aspect, and what she's saying does make sense. But there, as Andrew's saying, there's an inherent risk here where you're immediately creating these tribal lines that you don't even know what they are, right? Like you're just going with the original Zanhu and then the original Fei Long. You don't know if the two people in Fei Long will come and potentially work with you. And if they might, that might even be better for your game long term. You're already kind of throwing them to the wolves without properly giving them a chance to work with you, which it it could backfire on you, but like I feel like that's a risk you should be willing to take. It's one thing to throw a challenge, right? Like if you happen to just lose, you happen to just lose, right? Like there's nothing you can do about it. But if you're so obviously throwing a challenge like they ended up doing in this episode, like that just rubs me the wrong way. And especially like I'm a pretty big competitor. I don't want to like even with the strategy behind it, I'm like if I'm in a position to beat you, I'd want to beat you. I don't want to like just throw something because I feel like that'll give me a better chance. I will try to beat you just through my own skill, right? Because otherwise, I don't feel like I've earned it, even though there's strategy involved. And I just think the strategy could be pretty good, but just the implementation behind it was not something I agreed with.
So let me use some of your words against you. So earlier you were criticizing Sherea for not really doing all she can to win $1 million because she's actively hurting her own social game, making it harder for her. I
Yeah.
argue that PG is not letting something like this is like the honorable way to beat Aaron and James get in the way of the ultimate goal, which is win $1 million.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean that's why I'm divided on it. I don't think that like she's assuming that is her lone win condition, which it's not. Right? Like it if you think about it, it does make sense, but there's so many like this would be a much better strategy that I would be aligned with if we knew the full picture of what the other tribe is like and what their dynamics are like. At this point, they don't even know that. So it's survivor term. It's a shot in the dark in terms of this is how our tribal lines work against us. She's already assuming that they're going to vote out those two members. We don't know that. And they have an advantage, now that they have James, now that they have Aaron, and they could look to leverage that advantage. And it could be a situation where James and Aaron genuinely enjoy working with them. So they don't actually care about the whole original Fei Long. Their goal is I'm winning $1 million. I don't really like, however I have to do it, I don't care. Right. So like the strategy behind it, the part that I like is that she's thinking ahead and she's seeing a pathway for them to win in a way that could make sense, based on maybe how other survivor seasons in the past would have went. But the thing is, like, again, the implementation towards how it works might not go the way that she's expecting. And the way that like she's just kind of throwing a challenge, if you're doing it so obviously, then, like it just no one's going to want you to win, right? Like you're essentially screwing someone else over for no reason.
And there it is. Okay, I was hoping you'd bring that up because another reason I brought up your criticism of Sherea is there a danger, not just the risk that Ange brought up, that like something can go wrong and I could die in the battle, I could get voted out.
Yes.
Is there a risk that I am preventing myself from winning because I am damaging my social game so severely that even if I did get to the end, I'm not going to get votes.
Yes, I think the way that she had to implement this, if she was to do that, I would not have implemented it right away. I would have thought about it. I would have tried to actually work with the tribe, and try to actually win the game. But I think the approach they took this episode was they made it so obvious, and they actually admitted to Jeff that they were throwing, that it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Like, you got to wonder how competitive the person is if that's the only way that they can think of winning, right? Like, by purposely lowering themselves instead of trying to set the bar higher and higher.
And does it make you feel any better if I remind you that Jamie had been kidnapped? She has seen the other tribe. She does have some information to go off of to predict what they're going to do. Because a lot of this is also, it's not just that losing would be good, it's that winning would be bad. We think that either Frosty or Sherea are going to get voted out if we let the other team lose, basically.
I think if it's looked into the way of protecting their tribe mates, it's fine. But I do think hearing F say they didn't even give them a chance to kind of see are we close? Could this work?
Mhm.
Because in the end of the day, we always criticize them keeping within outside of within their tribe, in their tribal lines, no go mixing and matching. This is forcibly making you mix and match on the tribes. And yet we still kind of think about the original tribe. We think about the OG. I think a bigger brain game is to work with everybody as much as you can. I didn't see them do that a lot. At least from what I'm seeing, I see them you're right. They're just hey, we're not going to work with them. We're going to protect Sherea and Frosty. And I'm also were they that close to Sherea? I feel like I didn't see that they were close. I mean, Sherea herself was I'm in the bottoms here. But maybe it's to protect Frosty because they were closer to Frosty than they were Sherea. They didn't want the risk for that. I mean, in the end of the day, I would not throw a challenge just because I wouldn't want to die. I don't want the risk. By winning, I have 100% chance to surviving. By losing, I have a chance. There's no 100%, and I don't go by that. So I would still, heck no, I ain't going to do that. But if anybody wants to sacrifice themselves, the other team
Oh,
can,
so are you
not
saying
me.
well, so are you saying, so it sounds like you wouldn't be the one to propose this idea, but if you
Oh,
were
heck no.
Jamie in this scenario and Peih-Gee comes to you with this idea, are you then going with it, or are you trying to dissuade her then from?
I feel if I was Jamie and Peih-Gee said this, I feel I would. I don't know. I feel I would still try to dissuade it. I feel one, I don't want to be I don't want to be the one voted out. Two, I feel at this time the meta is if you want to throw out a game, you're really gonna get the down looks from Papa Jeff. It's gonna be why are you even
happens,
playing?
by the way, in this
Yes,
episode.
yes. So I'm that means a lot to me. I would be a little scared. So I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. I get it though. I
Gotcha.
get it. The math is mathing. I get it. But I fear it's not going to help them.
Yeah, I gotta say, my perspective, thinking as a first-time viewer, the math is what makes me like it. The math is mathing, and that's enough for me. I
Mhm.
like it. It makes sense. ... Execution, awful. because because they go to the challenge, and I guess we might as well get out of the way. So that after the swap, the immunity challenge is called wow, there's a lot on the Strutter wiki on this. It is called Plunge, Pull, Pop. So which I actually think was a pretty nicely laid out challenge. It's you have to swim. Yeah, well, no, you have to row your boat. Actually, no, you do swim at first. You swim out, two of you, to a platform where there's a cage underwater holding the puzzle pieces, which are like discs, big discs with holes in them, and you have to keep diving down to pull out poles from the cage, which allows all those discs to float back up to the top. When you're done with that, put them all in a boat, and then either row the boat or swim the boat back to shore. And then everybody else, the three of them, are going to work to align those discs into 12 slots. Oh, because these are all representing the zodiac. They all have a different symbol on them. Put them all in the right spot to solve the puzzle and win. And so Jamie and PG, since they've put themselves on the puzzle, which that execution is good, that makes sense. It's easy to convince them to put you on the puzzle, and since you're there, you control everything. They even shout in the distance, like, "Take your time, boys. Take a minute. Take a long minute," which is the first suspicious that happens for James. And then when the puzzle pieces are actually here, Jamie tries to suggest, "Oh, James, why don't we do like an assembly line? Like you get the piece and then hand it to PG, who will hand it to me." But James shuts that down because that plan doesn't make any sense in this context. Jamie then just happily tosses a piece behind the puzzle so that it could never be found. And then lastly,
out there, like she could not have made it more fake.
And then lastly, like as they're trying to put them in, they'll like try it like for a second, leave it there for a little bit, and then pick it up and like get another one. James is even like, they gotta fit in the slots. Like he's getting frustrated. The quote I had pulled earlier is Jeff, who should know because I mean he like production could warn him, but also just seeing with his eyes, like, "PG, you good at puzzles? Good at Sudoku." This made me laugh. Which James is like, "Focus."
Yeah, James is like, ignore Jeff. Don't need to talk to him. Who cares about what he's asking you? Focus.
Yeah, so there you go. There's our breakdown of the challenge. Because of all that, Fei Long wins. But yeah, F, to your point, being so obvious about this is definitely gonna damage you socially with these people. Asterisk, I guess if you successfully vote them out, who cares? Like, maybe, but yeah.
I mean, you're again, that's just the short-term view of it. Like, I feel like like if you have to do things this way, be more subtle about it, right? Because they're not considering the fact that, okay, if this isn't permanent, or even if you get into a post-merge situation, you're there, people are going to remember that you threw a challenge, right? Like, who's going to want to work with someone who just throws a challenge? Like, it's a strategy to get to the end, but it is not the only strategy. And the fact that they immediately went to it and did not consider other options is what does not sit right with me. And especially if it eliminates someone who otherwise does not deserve to be eliminated due to anything they themselves did.
Yeah, so this is really, and I know we're going all kinds of out of order here, but this is just a crazy moment. This is a memorable historical Survivor moment too. Aaron is sometimes referred to as like the first swap screw, which I'm not sure is like officially accurate, but it's to this point the most severe, I think, instance of being swap screwed, because this is not just a swap. This is Toddler's first strategic swap, which means it wasn't they pulled rocks and it was random. It was there's some kind of choice system happening where you get to choose your own fate. Since each tribe actually selected people, so in a sense, John Who selected the biggest threats to them with the intention of easily being able to vote them out. So with pretty much nothing Aaron could have done about this, or James, because this was the type of challenge that would be quite difficult to win on your own. In fact, if they had been able to put James and Aaron both on the swimming part, then they could have done absolutely nothing. In this case, at least James was on the puzzle, but it wasn't enough. So yeah, this is a so now let me change your opinion here, or not opinion, your viewpoint from do you like the strategy to just do you like the game mechanic itself?
No.
Of just the swap? Like, what do you mean? Game mechanic of what?
Exactly how this swap was presented.
I hate it.
And executed.
Yeah, no, I don't like it. I think I think just leave your teams as they are and then just go to post merge. This swap screws people over for no reason. Like we look at Aaron and he didn't do anything. Like when he went there, he talked to them. He was nice to them. He didn't say anything that they should have had like their knives out or anything. They feel that, okay, he's the leader. We don't know how much we could trust him. And I understand that thought process, but he didn't do anything that should have put him under danger. Like, or put him under fire, I should say. So like, it's just, I'm putting myself in his shoes and I'm just saying, like, if this happened to me, I'd be very upset that this is what caused me to leave. It's not something I did. Like, I didn't do anything. Like, this was something that I was forced into a situation. They chose me. They brought me over to essentially just eliminate me off a game they just threw.
Yeah, I ain't about it. It just sucks. It just sucks as a player to watch it. And even as a viewer, I didn't find it that exciting. If anything, it makes the calculations much easier on who we're going to take out. Like, it's going to be the new people, the new 2 people that we took, you know? I just feel like it hasn't been like, "Oh, surprisingly, this person's actually good to work with, and let's vote out our original people." It ends up being, even if they like, let's say they did have, like, a thing, like, they were like, they were really nice. I actually like him, wanna work with James more than Sherea, or what's his name? What's the other guy's name that we took out?
Aaron.
Aaron, more than Sherea, whatever. They, in the end, will I feel like they will convince them not to do that, because then they'll be like, "Oh, but then Sherea and Frosty will be like, 'What happened?' And then would not wanna work with them anymore." So in the end of the day, no matter what, like, if they wanna work with them, they don't wanna work with them, they're gonna be forced to play a hand of taking them out, because it makes sense strategically to not be like, "Hey, I'm gonna betray my original tribe people." And also, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just, as a game mechanic, it doesn't make sense. I don't like it. As a viewer, it just doesn't feel fun. I feel like, if anything, it just ruins the fun for me. Makes it just too easy. I mean, like, it would have been shooketh if it was Jamie Peih-Gee, um, musician guy, that was the one that was voted out, but that wasn't gonna
Oh,
happen.
Eric.
Eric, yeah. I forgot his name
Well,
for a
I
moment.
guess the only hope was, inexplicably, and still not explained, by the way, Jamie and PG do not reveal their master plan to Eric, so poor Eric tries his absolute best in this challenge, is exhausted, swimming and diving and everything, only to find out, like, oh, actually, we were like supposed to lose anyway. Like, why did I just
I
use
know,
up all
he
my
was
energy?
shocked, and he had this, "Oh, they girls are working together, they didn't tell him." So I wonder if that's gonna come in later to bite them, but right now it hasn't. But I'm also like, "Oh, yeah, they didn't tell him at all, he wasn't part of this." But
Yeah,
it's
well,
Yeah.
just
I'm just
too.
saying, like, I guess what could have happened is, so upset. I mean, Eric could have voted with Aaron and James potentially. Like that was the only hope, I think, for something different, like, to surprise you to happen.
And again, that just goes to show the emphasis on how poorly implemented this was. They had zero reason they couldn't have just explained this to Eric beforehand, got his opinion on it. They just chose not to do that. So like it created an additional risk of him not wanting to do that and saying, "Hey, no, this doesn't make sense. Why don't we let's just try to win? Why are we sending ourselves to more tribals than we need to be in?"
Yeah, yeah. But all right, let's break down all the stuff that happened in this episode, and then we'll end up back at tribal. It begins. Well, actually, we get our love in the air scene because Eric and Jamie are in the water, which we talked about. But equal exchange of information here, because Eric reveals that he's a virgin, and Jamie reveals that there's a hidden immunity idol. So, as both of them sharing things about them, I guess.
What a
Uh,
what a what a exchange on that.
yeah. So I guess, like, if you're keeping track, Eric now knows the existence of an idol. I don't know that Jamie read out the clue that she knows about, but in theory, now there could be 2 people looking for it on this beach if they want to. So that happens. Each tribe gets a visit from a boat with a letter telling them that they need to pick 2 members of the other tribe to join their side. Fei Long correctly deduces, oh, they're definitely going to take James and Aaron. So, like, how should we counteract that to figure out who they want? And they end up picking Sherea and Frosty. The only surprise is like if you're gonna expect them to take two men, then they would have picked probably Eric and Frosty, but they actually go for Sherea, which either means like they've noticed Sherea clearly is like their strongest person ahead of Eric, or they're just like Eric is useless, not doing anything in the challenges. So either way. Um, also, on the other tribe, John Who, they get this message and they are elated. They're so excited that the game is just handing them two extra people with no
That was
strings
so
attached.
funny. Yeah, like the other one's like, oh, they're gonna ask for these two, but these, like, they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're letting this happen. We're gonna get like so many people. They're gonna be so mad. It's like, no. And this game is balanced in a way it's not like this. Not like this.
Granted, we are complaining about how unbalanced this swap even is, but that would have been even more unbalanced. Like that would have been ridiculous. So they are saddened when they realize that, and surprised with now no time to, because they find out when the boat comes to take Frosty and Sherea, so they've had no time to like plan for this at all. They're just bamboozled. On Fei Long, while they're waiting for Frosty and Sherea to arrive, Jean Robert wants to talk to everybody on what their game plan's going to be with the other two, but no one wants to talk about that. And actually, they kind of are annoyed again by him even bringing it up. And I feel there's another time, like, I think Jean Robert has the right idea, because he's saying, like, we can talk about who we want to get out without having to worry about being overheard, because they're not here. We should probably do that now.
That's true. Very smart. I feel like, yeah, I think they're just to the point where I get, though, when you're like, you just don't like someone and whatever they do just annoys you. And that's where they're at right now.
It just goes to show that, like, they don't necessarily need to be sticking in tribal lines. They can work on building relationships outside. You're not just going to get to the end just staying with your tribe. So while that might be John Robert's approach to it, it shows that they potentially are more willing to work with the others rather than someone who might have they didn't see eye to eye with in their original tribe.
Yeah, granted, easier to say when you already have the numbers advantage. Like, it's easy, like, oh, we don't need an extra person. But it gets worse for Jean Robert. The next day, this is day 14, by the way. At last, it is now time for Jean Robert's strategy to take form, as this is the time he's going to start working. So, 13 days of him doing nothing. But now they'll see. So he gets up early, he makes the fire, he makes breakfast. But meanwhile, actually, Denise still isn't happy and is like, oh, look, what's he doing? Is he strutting his feathers over there? Jokes that now it's gonna be since Aaron's not here and James not here, it's gonna be Sherea that's gonna have to do the arguing with them. So actually bonding with the enemy against Jean Robert in this case. And then I think Jean Robert, he says something about, it's like all the tasks they have to do, like somebody to go get, like, he's gonna go fish and someone else is gonna tend the fire or something, and then Denise like, okay, tribe leader, which starts another thing, which is, I'm not trying to
Yes,
be
I
the
remember
leader.
that. Yes, he's just like, oh no, I'm not. And then she was like, okay, leader. Because being a leader does put a thing on your back. I don't want to be the leader. Don't say that. Don't curse me like that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Jean Robert may not have accounted for this possibility in his master plan of suddenly working later. So the early return's not good for his be lazy for 13 days plan. But Frosty and Sherea are very happy to notice this, so they're hoping that if it came to it, they could potentially leverage Jean Robert as a target before one of them as a target. After that, we get the challenge that we talked about. Um, and then after the challenge, I mean, James is mad. Like, he's upset. He's also not. I mean, assuming this wasn't a throne challenge, this probably was not the best for James, because he's calling out like, "Oh, clearly you're like, you, Jamie, you lost your cool, and PG, you clearly can't do puzzles." Uh, like, if this had not been a throne challenge, I'd be like, this is probably not the best way to keep yourself in the game, James.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know if you'd be reacting like that if they didn't throw the challenge. I feel like it was super obvious, and they had such a big lead that like it. You got to wonder if they just threw the challenge, and that's what's causing part of the frustration there.
James has a big reaction at Tribal when Jamie admits it, which makes me think he didn't know, but maybe like he suspected and just didn't know. So,
Well, the other thing is, like, even before they went into the challenge, while they were talking ahead of the challenge, once they got swapped into those new tribes, he was told by the two girls that they're really good at puzzles. So, like, he might have been thinking, like, okay, like let's see what everyone's about. And again, I go back to like they had a big lead. Like this was their challenge to lose. Like the girls had to make it super obvious that they were throwing. He might not have been thinking that. It's a weird thing to be accusing someone of, right? Like he just met them. So like he's frustrated, but like maybe it's not big enough where like he's accusing them of throwing the game. And they just come out and admit it themselves because it's like it's pretty like Jeff had to bring up that question. It was pretty obvious.
yeah. Last thing before Tribal, what's also strange is that PG does approach James and is kind of like who would you vote for? Like
Mhm.
if you want to vote for Aaron, I can make that happen.
That was weird. I'm not gonna lie. That was weird. I'm PG. Like I'm like, I don't know, PG. What? I don't know what she was trying to get from like him to say, like like be like begging for his life or what? Like I'm like I want to live, but he didn't take it though. He was like, I don't care, just take me out, bro.
Well, yeah,
I don't
I
care.
don't know. I don't know that I like James's answer either, though.
Yeah, that's true. James is literally like, I don't care, take me out. Uh,
Like at the end of the day, telling someone to vote you out not the way to survive. Or
I mean,
sort of not, as we'll see.
I respect the fact that he didn't throw the person who was with him under the bus. But like, yeah, it's weird that he's just seemed like he's kind of giving up there in the moment.
Yeah, they actually also ask. They don't ask in the same way, but they do talk to Aaron. And at one point, it's Jamie asking Aaron. She didn't ask for this vote, but she said hypothetically, after the merge, do you think John Robert would be the first person out? And Aaron would not answer. So maybe that's like a tangible mistake. Like maybe Aaron just should have said like, "Oh yeah, sure, it'll be John Robert," even if he doesn't believe that. Because I think ultimately they prioritize getting Aaron out more than James, thinking that Aaron will be a more active strategic player than James will be. And being cryptic is a sign that you're a strategic player. So maybe. But
interesting.
yeah, at Tribal Council, it starts off okay, but then, you know, he's like, most people like just hate being here at Tribal, but I see Jamie with a smile on her face. James is like, exactly.
Yes,
And,
he's like, please, your honor, look at her.
and eventually, F, like you said, Jeff just asks, like, am I to understand it then that you threw the challenge? And Jamie cracks immediately. He's like, yeah, we threw the challenge. Prompting James to be like, what? What? Like a huge reaction. But yeah, at that point, PG a little more calmly, but PG and Jamie explain what we talked about, where they're making the case that winning would only be bad for John Hu as a tribe. Therefore, we're gonna lose. And James again, even just like, you know what, based on all this, vote me out. I don't want to. Essentially, actually, I don't know if he goes so far as I don't want to be here, but he does say like Aaron deserves to be here, which therefore is he doesn't, or doesn't want to be. Uh, it also prompted also this funny moment from James.
What kind of sense does that make? What kind of dumb do you take me for?
Which was PG trying to explain how that conversation we talked about, like asking like if he wants Aaron to go. But we go to the vote. Aaron does vote for James, but he doesn't do it in like a betraying way. He's like, well, essentially, it's going to be one of us, so I have to do this. James votes for PG, so he actually does not vote for Aaron, though without a plan to actually get PG out, this is a bit of a wasted vote. And the rest of them do vote for Aaron, which eliminates Aaron from the game.
Womp, womp, womp. Which is crazy because I thought James was going to go. I clearly, again, did not read the room.
Well, I guess
I was not surprised by this one. It felt like because he wears his emotions on his sleeves, you're not as worried about someone who might be like voting in an obvious way. James just came across as more obvious, where, as Will was saying, there's more like cryptic stuff behind what Aaron's doing, and he was the leader of the other tribe. He's potentially a bigger strategic threat for them to keep around if they go back to their original tribes for whatever reason. So I could see the urgency with, if you're eliminating one of them, eliminate Aaron. And maybe next week they decide, hey, we're not going to obviously throw another challenge. Then, like based on a physical standpoint, James is going to help them, assuming they didn't just utterly destroy the relationship right here and then.
Well, all right, but let's follow that thread. Based on everything we watched, are they just going to try to throw it again? Like, I feel the situation hasn't really changed, right?
It depends on if James is continuing to play the game. I think it's dumb for them to do that. I don't think it was smart for them to throw this challenge. I think it's one thing if they just naturally lose the challenge, right? Like, again, you can't do anything about that. But if you're in a position to win, do not purposely throw a challenge. Like, you do not want to be going to more tribals than you need to. Like, that's just not a winning strategy.
What about you, Ange? Do you think, based on what we've seen play out, are they going to try to throw again?
I kind of think, I don't think so. I think it'll be dumb to do it again. But I think maybe he himself has also given up, but I think he wouldn't. I don't think they're going to do it again. I don't think they're going to throw again. I think they're going to discuss with it. I think it could be, we're expecting like a blowout. We're going to go back and they're going to yell at each other and it's going to okay, you're going to go home next. We're going to lose and we're going to definitely. But I'm going to go the other route in terms of, I think they're going to have a productive conversation and something's going to discuss. I think after the calm is there and like the storm goes away and the calm is here, I think he's going to collect himself and work on this again and be able to work this out. I think.
Okay, so you think that James will bury the hatchet and join forces with the rest of Jianghu?
Yeah, wild take, but that's my prediction.
Okay. Wrapping this up, Jeff definitely not happy. I mean, this is almost as bad as a quit, I think, in his head. But honestly, I just want it known. I think you guys kind of have spoken around this. This is much worse on production. Like, why did you create a scenario where mathematically this is the optimal play? Like, there's only so much I can be upset about PG and Jamie for when this is what they're presented with.
Yeah. Like, this would be the meta, is to throw the game to have people get voted out. I don't see why it wouldn't be the meta. They created the game and this is how people are playing the game. So it's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. And the game creator is the producers.
Now, the part you can, I think, judge PG and Jamie for is if you think that their strategy is flawed in a way. I still think that, again, I think as a first-time viewer of this, I think it's net positive. Like, I think after you consider everything, it's still better. This is still a good move, and then an awful execution, both at the challenge and at camp and at tribal. Is kind of where I land on it. But I know some people, maybe even you two, think like, actually, no, even before all that, it's already like an ill-advised move. And that's all fine.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure it's known, at least for me, production, you done messed up.
Yeah, I just think that if you're going to lose, like you're eventually going to lose, right? Like, you're not assuming you're just going to win every challenge up until you hit a post-merge setting. They could have worried about this and done exactly this once they lost a challenge just naturally. I just felt there was no reason to purposely throw without understanding the full picture. You don't know if the two people will work with you. I just think that they're really they think they're setting themselves up well, but I just see so many things that could go wrong here that they're not thinking of.
Sure. Yeah, they're desperately trying to protect Frosty and Sherea, though it would be unfortunate if, when the time came, they didn't actually work together. That'd be a disaster. Because you're right, they are assuming that if all 5 of them made it to the merge, that they would all 5 actually work together. They are assuming that. Now, I mean, that's not too uncommon. I think even today, we've seen plenty of post merge that is tribe versus tribe, but you're right, it is an assumption. But yeah, so that's that. Regarding the winner picks. So, Ange, you currently have Todd and Jamie, I believe. And they both survived. And I don't think we saw any. Well, actually, I'll just lead it forward to you. So, will you be sticking with both Jamie and Todd? Todd, I don't think he was a main character in these 2 episodes. Jamie definitely was as part of this challenge throw. So, what do you think?
I think Jamie's protected now that she does have this romance going on. So and she's in the majority in a tribe. So right now I'm gonna stay with Jamie. She's making me nervous a little bit because she threw the challenge and she's been so outwardly out there saying that. I feel like the god of Survivor, aka Jeff, wouldn't like that and would do anything of his power to take her out. So that's my theory, is that she might be going in the next, I don't know, 3 episodes. But I'm gonna keep her for now.
Okay, as long as it's not 2, because we're watching 2 next time. So
That's true.
3's okay. If she goes in 3 episodes, you're fine. But if she goes 2 episodes, then.
Well, let's hope for the best.
And as for you, F, you also have Todd, and then you have PG. So kind of same thing. PG also part of this throwing business. So will you be sticking with Todd and PG?
Yeah, I think I will. No reason to move off them right now.
I was worried that you're so against challenge throwing, and you just would like James, be like, nah, I can't be a PG anymore. Unacceptable.
I am against it, but she's still in the game, and I mean, she's not under fire so far. She has the majority in her tribe.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Anything else you guys want said about these 2 episodes?
Let's go, James. Turn it around on these fools.
No. I'm excited to see the next thing, what's going to happen. So we shall see.
Actually, F is forgetting winner picks. Is that because that's kind of how I started this episode? Are you finding it fun to root for James? If you had to root for one person, is that who you think you'd root for?
I think he's absolutely not going to make it to the end, but he's the fun person to root for right now, just because he really did get screwed over here, so he comes across as the underdog.
I feel like I would also root for James, especially after this episode. What about you, Ange?
I get his frustrations, but I think it's just funnier to see him mad. So
would you? I guess would you root for Jamie or for PG then, if that's what you want to see? Yeah.
It's hard because I think I'm not rooting for PG or Jamie or anything. But I think I'll go. I don't want to say I'm going to go for PG and Jamie, but I kind of want to see how they're going to do. They're just kind of all giggly and cute and a little girl squad going on. So, I'm going to root for them just to be the person that's not rooting for Jamie.
That's totally legitimate.
I would just love if after every episode that he's part of a tribal and not voted out, if James would just be like, yeah, you got buried, or just had a catchphrase that he did, like his grave digging job.
Oh
That'd be
my
perfect.
god. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I was shocked. I was like, sometimes I wonder, like, he should really pull that more. Like his job being a grave digger. Like, I need him to bring that more puns from him. Like, come on now.
Well, he did tell Dave when Dave went to hug him. He's like, "Hey, I already told you about the hugging."
Yeah,
So
he
that
comes
did
across
happen.
as a serious person, so that would be an interesting development, but like I'd be here for it.
Yeah, me too. I'd be
Sounds
down.
great. Sounds great. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Island Life for Survivor China. Tune in next time as we go over episodes 6 and 7. But until then, and until we meet again, ciao.